Take a look. The crowd is amazing. We're having a blast.
We can't go to South Beach, then why can't we go?
No, that's not fair. We're on spring break.
We'd be able to continue that curfew, number one, starting on Thursdays through Sunday for the remainder of the period of spring break.
We're over 1,000 arrests.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the city of Miami Beach enacting a state of emergency order due to the chaos and the lawlessness happening on the beach over the weekend because of spring breakers coming into town and tearing things up. Now, there's a lot I could sink my teeth into in this particular video. There's a lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. Where do I begin? I really don't know. I guess I should start with the elephant in the room. Who's doing this? Where they coming from? What's going on? What you have are a bunch of young black folks from all over the country between the ages of 18 to 25, or more broadly 18 to 30, that have gone to Miami Beach to quote unquote party, turn up, or whatever. But a lot of them are just causing a bunch of problems. All right. Public intox, indecent exposure, assault, battery, robbery, you name it. There have been 1,000 arrests and 80 guns seized on Miami Beach just over the weekend alone. 1,000 arrests, right? Now, I'm surprised that there was no looting. I figured that'd be a feature of this particular event. I figured it'd be a full-blown riot. You got 1,000 arrests, 80 guns with no looting, but hey, different story. I digress. The point is that there's a bunch of issues happening down on Miami Beach. And the question is why? Why is this happening? Well, first of all, you got a culture issue. That's really just the another elephant in the room. Is a culture issue. A lot of black folks, they get in these cheap flights, $65, never been to Miami. They're bored in their state. They've been on lockdown. Other places are closed. Like normally they might go to Virginia Beach, where I'm from. I'll talk about that a little bit later. They may go to Myrtle Beach and other spots around the country, but they feel like, okay, I got a cheap flight. I can go down there and turn up, party. I don't even need a hotel. I'm going to just go down there and figure it out. So you had overcrowding issues, people just loitering, not spending any kind of money. That's something else. People say, well, you got an influx of people, they're going to spend a lot of money. Well, if all they're doing is a general party culture, like this Instagram thing where you just go to a place, stand around, stare at each other with a drink in your hand, and then take a picture, put it on Instagram, say, you know, I'm lit, I'm turned up, I'm having a great time, all this and that. If you're doing all that, you're not helping the local economy. All you're doing is just doing that to get some likes on Instagram or TikTok or wherever you are. That's it. That's all you're really doing. So you're not helping. You're not bringing any kind of money. You're just loitering. And when you're loitering, standing around, that's what causes a lot of the fights. Plenty of fights have been reported. Like if you have a police scanner for Miami Beach, it's lit up like a Christmas tree. Over the weekend, oh, it was crazy. Okay, fight, gun fight, shooting, fight, robbery, fight. All right. Now, I speak coming from a place of being involved with these types of things, not in any kind of criminal activity, of course, but I've been down the beach in Virginia Beach on 4th of July. I've been down there for a spring break. I've worked with guys that have organized spring break events at Virginia Beach. I know some of the guys that are in power in Virginia Beach, some of the city officials. I know firefighters. My dad was a firefighter, obviously. I know police officers that have been down the beach on the beach weekend in Virginia Beach. So I understand what's going on here. I think Miami Beach were not prepared. And from what I've read, I think I'm right. Because Miami, the city of Miami, they advertised for tourists to come back. But Miami Beach did not advertise for tourists to come back. So if you didn't do any advertising, the question is, were you prepared for tourists to come in? After all, if you do advertising, you have to expect a return on the advertising. All right. If you don't advertise, maybe you don't want people to come to the beach. Maybe that's what's going on. So right there, you got a communication issue between Miami and Miami Beach. They're not really communicating. They're not talking properly. Because if Miami is saying, hey, come on down, and the beach is not saying the same thing, that's a problem right there, first of all. Second of all, if you're not ready for them to come, what are they going to do when they get there? If you got 50,000, 100,000 people, and by the way, I'm not saying everybody that went down there that happened to be black was engaging in violence, but if you got 100,000 people and 10% of that engage in violence and lawlessness, I mean, come on, 10%, 10,000 people, that's plenty, but at the same time, not a lot compared to 100,000. But anyway, if you got all of them coming down the beach and if nothing, they have nothing to do, you're not prepared for them, all they're going to do is stand around, do nothing. They're not going to have their energy channel anywhere. So you're going to have violence start up. When I would go down to the beach on 4th of July in Virginia Beach, if I was like standing in one place too long, you have the cops come up and say, hey, keep it moving. Because if you stand still, that's when violence happens. And I've seen some of the footage, and I'll link to more of that in the description box below. I've seen footage where you have a group standing around 1 minute, and then the next second, it'd be a fight right there. They were not prepared. I did not see any not horse drawn, but just horses. Because down in Virginia, they got horses that'll pull up on you. Like in Virginia, if you urinate behind the store, a friend of mine peed behind the store, like on the 4th, and the horse pulled up on him. Oh, that's an indecent exposure right there. Here's a ticket. You got to be like that because if you're not, these little ticky-tack things that you may see as kind of petty add up to what you had on Miami Beach over the weekend, which is just pure chaos and lawlessness. All right. Now, the key thing about this, as far as the black element, is you have about 10 to 20%, maybe about 10% of the crowd that could get violent, out of control. And the age group, 18 to 30, that's the magic number right there, 18 to 30. When you do events that's targeted to older demographic, you don't have those problems. Like, I've seen events for young people that went out of control because you're inviting not only young people, but also some of the hood people. And there's no delineation. Like, if you do party events and you say, or you market it to, the hood crowd, you got ugly flyers. That's going to bring out the worst criminal. That's going to bring out the guns and the shooting and everything else. If you have more upscale looking stuff and more bougie looking stuff, for lack of better words, you're going to have less of that. Some of the hood rats will come out, but you're going to have more of the college kids and the good kids that are not going to engage in the violence. If you have an event that's catered more towards the older crowd, you're not going to have any problems. When you have Afro Fest, well, when you had it back in the day in Norfolk, there was issues because there was not necessarily events catered to one particular group. It was okay, it's black stuff out here. We got beads, bangles, or whatever, dashikis. Come on out, have fun in Norfolk, downtown Norfolk. You had games coming out there and everything else. But when you had no more Afro Fest, then it became Africana down on the ocean front, and you had Frankie Beverly and Maze and Cameo and some of the older groups that come out. Now you got, you got some of the OGs, you got your moms, your dads, your grandmas, all of that. No more violence because you don't have that young, crazy element coming to your area. But you got to plan for it, and you got to do things properly. If you don't plan for it, if you don't do things properly, you're going to have Miami Beach. At the end of the day, as I close, the behavior out there was ridiculous. It was embarrassing, but very predictable. This has been an ongoing thing. It's happened over and over and over again. Okay? We saw it in Virginia Beach at the Greek Fest riot. Luckily, there was no looting at this one, and it wasn't as bad as it was back then in 89. But I've seen it a lot after that as well. Just, a lot of criminal complaints and people being assaulted, locals being terrorized. All right? But to be clear, it's not even the locals doing it. It's the so-called tourists coming from out of town, never been anywhere, cheap flights. They want to go turn up. They're not trying to spend money, although they got money because they got their stimulus checks, and they probably on unemployment insurance as well, but they don't really want to spend money. They'll spend money on their outfit. They'll spend money on the flight to get out there. They'll spend money on alcoholic beverages and stuff like that, but to actually patronize local business, they don't want to do that. If I go to a place as a tourist and I'm down there hanging out, having a good time, I'll spend some money. All right. I know this is a tourist place. I'm here to spend money. Like, I would not go to DR or somewhere like that and not spend money. All right. They depend on me as a tourist to spend money. I'm not going to go there just for the Instagrams to show off. I'm going to help the local economy. That's how it's supposed to be. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about these Miami, what do you call it? Maybe like baby riots, lawless behavior, chaotic behavior, and what can be done to stop this from happening in the future? Whatever thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. Did I get anything wrong here? Am I being racist for calling out who's doing it and why they're doing it? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I stand at this particular point in time. You got a ridiculous subculture out there that is just left to roam around and do whatever they want to do. If you want to stop that kind of behavior, what you got to do is have events set up, be ready for them to come in there. You can't just say, oh, we don't want you to be here. You can't do that because they're going to come. You can't stop tourism, but you got to have their energy placed in the right direction. Okay. If you got parties out there, party promoters, have them target certain groups so they get funneled in one area so they don't get out of control and too much. And the events you're having should play to one particular kind of crowd that you want. That's really what it should be. So you discourage some of the more hooligan and hood rat crowd from even coming. Oh, I don't want to go there. It's going to be whack. You got to discourage them. You got to understand who you're dealing with. Don't just act like nothing's going on and put your head in the sand. I think they were caught flat-footed and did not see this whole thing coming because, you know, perfect storm, stimulus check, cheap flights, other places closed. Let's go to Miami. They're going to have the same thing up until like almost the end of April because we're just beginning spring break. And spring break, like, what are you breaking from exactly? You breaking from your Zoom class? You're breaking from your couch eating bonbons and Cheetos and whatnot? I mean, what are you breaking from? It was embarrassing to see them out there like that, but it could have been prevented. And not all of us are like that. But unfortunately, too many of us either subscribe to that or we endorse it. I don't endorse it, nor do I subscribe to it. I think there's a growing number of us that do not endorse, subscribe, or participate in that kind of degenerate, ridiculous, antisocial culture. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.